guys, welcome to the WRight Nurse. If you're new to my channel, my name is Lakeisha. I am officially a registered nurse. I passed my boards this January 2021, which thank God is over. I will be starting my labor and delivery nurse residency March of this year. I'm super excited, can't wait to start, and that is a little background on me. So if you're here for this video, you guys want to know some tips and tricks to pass the NCLEX and what I did exactly to pass within 75 questions. If you would like to know what I did, please continue watching. Alright guys, I'm going to give like a quick background to like how long I was studying for the NCLEX. So if you watch a few videos back, I did state that I brought the UWorld study material back in October of 2020. But with school and everything, I didn't finish school until like December. I will say between October and December, I maybe did 5 to 10 UWorld questions. Every now and then. I can't say I did it every day because school was a lot. So I maybe did like 5 to 10 questions maybe every 3 days a week, honestly. I really wasn't touching UWorld at that time. Now, I didn't start really getting into UWorld until December. So after school ended, which was like mid-December, I did give myself a quick little break, okay? Because you're going to need a little break from everything, at least a week. And at that point, I also didn't have my test date, my ATT, to schedule my test. So I didn't really have any fire underneath me to really like start studying. So I didn't get my ATT, honestly, until like January, like the very beginning of January. And that's when I really started to study. Now, before we go forward to let you know how many questions and things I did today, I only used 2 things for my study material. Only 2 things, that is it. I didn't use anything else. I know some people like to go back through all their nursing notes and all that. Don't do that. Just don't. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of your energy. Practice questions 100%. Practice questions. You have to do practice questions. That is the best way to prepare for the NCLEX. Looking over old notes and all that, it ain't gonna help you. Just do practice questions. That is like the #1 thing I recommend is practice questions. Now, the 2 things that I did use for study materials. Now, if your school is like mine, my school had purchased the ATI for us. So we've been using the ATI literally the entire program. So at the end of the program, we have a comprehensive review. Now, with this comprehensive review, you get access to different tests and everything, and different material, learning material in this book. Now, I'm not really a fan of ATI, I'm be honest. I'm not that big of a fan. Wasn't a big of a fan of it in school when we had to do it. It's good, but then it's like, You know, I'm just not that big of a fan. But I will say the information that's in this book and that ATI provided was really helpful. Now, did I do any of the stuff in this book or review any of it at all? No, I did not. The only thing I used in this book was literally the pharmacology. Now, if you know your weak points, that's great. You definitely want to start off studying your weak points. And my weak points is pharmacology. So I literally created note cards for every med that you could think of. But not every med. I didn't make it like, I kind of put it under the pharmacological class instead of the, you know, med class, if that makes sense. So that made it easier, you guys. I literally, this is it. This is all my med note cards. As you can see, it's all meds. I like this because, 1, writing things down really helped me to learn. So this was really helpful for me, writing them out, learning everything. I was able to carry these at work, go through them at work. I definitely recommend making note cards if you are a learner if you learn easily by writing things down. However, I got something that's even better for you guys if you don't want to do all the work that I did. This will be a lot easier. Now, this is the Mosby's Pharmacology Memory Note Cards. You can buy these on Amazon. I think it's like $25, $27 on Amazon. I highly recommend these. Now, this also divides everything by the pharmacological class. And when I tell you this will probably save you all the work that I did, it will. It's definitely worth it. So if you guys are some OGs and been with me from the beginning, you guys know that I was really big on pick mnemonic. So this also uses a lot of mnemonics for you to help you remember like the medications, what class they're in, side effects. So I would definitely recommend this note card book clip thingy. Now that that's out the way, that was one thing that I used for studying for the NCLEX. The second thing I use, which is not a physical thing, it's UWorld. I mean, come on. You guys already knew I was going to say UWorld. When I tell you UWorld was the bomb.com, like, it looks exactly like the NCLEX. Like, color schemes, everything, the screen, everything, exactly like NCLEX. So that will give you some major comfort when it comes time to take the NCLEX. Now let's dive into my actual study habits. Now when January hit and I did get my ATT, that's when I picked everything up. Now before I get into that, the UWorld that I did purchase was it $200 one? Either way, it came 2 assessments in the 2,000 question word bank. So what I did was, once I got my ATT, I started doing 200 plus questions a day. Now some people may say that's a lot or too much, or some people may say that's not enough. It really depends on your personal preference. What I recommend is doing what you think works for you. Now the easiest way to do 200 plus questions a day, I do not recommend is sitting down doing the questions at one time. Like, no, I literally broke mine up to 25 questions at a time. All of my tests on ETI were 25 questions at a time. Anything more than that was just too much, because you're not just answering questions. Like when you answer the questions, I always kept mine in tutor mode. So with that, I was always reviewing the rationales. Review the rationales. Again, review the rationales. Even if you get them right, you want to look at the rationale, because you may have been thinking this answer is right for this reason, but then UWorld will give you a whole nother reason on why it's right. So always review the rationale, okay? That the rationale is your biggest friend. It really helps with your studying, and it gives you such a better understanding of what the heck you're reading, what you need to look out for, what to pay attention to. So definitely read the rationales. Now, I know a lot of people like to say to mix in all the different subjects like maternity, child, psych, I'll mix it all up together. And that way, because technically the NCLEX is nothing but a big melting pot of all that stuff. Now, I didn't study that way. I personally went by each section and did 25 from each section. So if it was psych questions, mental health, I did 25 mental health questions. For maternity, I did 25 maternity questions. I would just do it that way because you kind of get a better understanding when you start getting some of the same similar questions, if that makes sense. Like, yes, mixing them up is realistic in regards to the actual NCLEX. However, learning, I think, is better to just stick to one subject at a time. So what I did, once I got my test date, I did take the first assessment, and I took the first assessment to see what areas were my weak point. So I do recommend, before you really dive into your studying, if you do buy the 2 assessments, take the first assessment first to see where your weak points were. So I took the first assessment, and then again I just started studying and doing at least 200 questions a day. I did this from the beginning of January to my test date, which was the 15th. Now, one recommendation that I do give, don't ever test on a Friday. I don't recommend it. Y'all saw how stressed I was in my previous video, okay? I do not recommend testing on Friday. Another tip that I want to give you guys is that the day or the week of the actual NCLEX, what I recommend doing, which is what I did, was slow down the amount of questions you're doing. Because let's just be honest, in reality, if you don't know it by the week of your exam, you're not going to know it. So it is what it is. You might as well just slow it down. So what I did was, my test was on a Friday, so Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I did 50 questions a day. That's it, just 50. No more, no less. I looked over a few pharmacology cards, that was it. After 50 questions, I just put up my UWorld stuff, I was done. I was done for the day. Now, the day before the exam, do not do anything the day before the exam, okay? Don't do anything. One, you're already super nervous, so I recommend staying busy, going out with friends, I don't know, record a YouTube video, do something to keep you busy and keep your mind off of it. Do something. Also, what you want to do is getting a good night's rest, just relaxing the best that you can under those circumstances. Just relax. I hope these tips were helpful, you guys. I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.